Okay, great. So, hi, everybody. So, I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how to write a compelling application for the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship. So, I know that when a lot of you, especially if you've never applied for a scholarship before, when you apply for a scholarship, you're probably thinking that the people who are evaluating your scholarship application are being really, really serious. They are at this big, grand wooden desk, and they have your applications all printed out, and they're poring over it very seriously and carefully. That's not really the case in most of the time when people review applications. Most people review applications as additional work that's really on top of their existing workload. And they really don't want to be doing it because they have so many other things that they should be doing. So instead of taking your application really seriously, they're looking for ways to eliminate your application so they can just move on to the next application because they just want to move on and they just want to make it quick. So today what I'm going to do is to give you some tips on how to make your application compelling. And the tips that I'm going to give you are applicable not just for the written form of the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship application, but also for the video form. So remember, you'll be submitting a 500 word essay on what your research project is going to be. And you're also going to be submitting a 2-minute video explaining your scholarship, what you want to work on for the scholarship. All right, so I see 3 people are here. If you're here, would you tell me where you are located and where you're coming from today? I'd love to hear from you, see where you're streaming, where you're viewing this live stream from. Hi, Celadeth. So if you would share in the comments where you guys are watching the video from today, that would be really great. Hi, Renee. It's good to see you. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. Hi, West Virginia. Awesome. And I think Megan is coming to us from Norfolk, Virginia, which is where she lives. So it's good to see you guys. And so like I was mentioning before, in this live, I'm going to show you how to... Hi, Louisiana. Great to talk to you, Sherry. Okay, so for this live, I'm going to share with you 3 compelling tips to make a strong application for your Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship. And the reason why you should stay with me for the full 20 minutes is because not just simply that the tips I'm giving you are going to be useful for the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship, but they're going to be useful for all kinds of research or grant proposals that you might think about applying for in the future. And as you stay in the live, there's going to be an incentive to stay because we're going to give you a free downloadable cheat sheet of this entire talk that we're only going to be giving to people who join the live in person. All right, so let's start. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Adeline Ko, and I'm the founder of Sabbatical Beauty, which is a small company that sells handcrafted luxury Korean beauty influence products. And I was the one that also just created the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship. And I used to be a humanities professor. I used to be a literature professor. And in my time as an academic, I won a lot of grants. I won grants to go to places like Duke, Penn, University of Pennsylvania, and the National University of Singapore to conduct my research. So I have a really strong grasp of what makes a compelling scholarship, compelling scholarship application, and today I'm going to try to help you to create yours as well. So let's get first tip. Tip 1 is to be specific and realistic with your scholarship application. So a lot of the problem when you are starting out to apply for something that you want to do research on is that your research area is too broad. Like you want to cover an entire, you want to cover 50 years. But the thing is that you're supposed to show the results of your fellowship, of your scholarship application by the end of August of this year. So that's not too much time. You get awarded the scholarship in April, and then you only have until August. So I wouldn't try to devote a huge project to this. Rather, I would say if you already have a huge project going on, what you could do is then devote a chunk of that time to complete something small within that bigger project and have that be part of your scholarship application. So for example, let's say, your big project is that you want, thanks Karen. So let's say your big project is that you want to write a whole book, like a 300-page book on the inception and growth of the Black Lives Matter movement. Now that's a really great idea, that's a really great book proposal, but you're probably not going to be able to finish writing the entire book in a few months, especially if you haven't gotten started on creating a draft yet. So if you were going to amend that for the Sabbatical Beauty, hi Shona, nice to see you. So if you were going to amend that for the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship, what you could do is to say that you will be writing and completing one chapter of that book. So for example, you wanted to write a chapter that will document the genesis of the movement to its 3 radical Black female founders. And that's what you're going to be spending the summer scholarship working on. And that's going to be a lot more tangible. It's going to be a lot more realistic. So be very specific and narrow your goals when you are applying for a scholarship, and be realistic about what you can accomplish in 4 months. Okay, so has this been helpful so far? Is this helpful for you guys? Do you follow what I'm saying? Let me hear about it in the comments. Yeah, I'm not really hearing anything in the comments, which is fine. But so I'm hoping this is helpful. I hope I can. Oh, good. Zalada says yes. Simple is better. Yes. Smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. I think that's what SMART goals are supposed to stand for. Yeah. So if I can give you another example is, for example, let's say you wanted to apply for the scholarship to write, start a blog on beauty tips for women of color. Now that's a really big project because a blog could possibly be a multi-year project, right? So in order to make it more time-based and more limited, what you could do is to say that you're just need to start pay for website hosting for the blog, and you write 3 articles to start the blog with, and you're going to have that ready by the end of the summer. So that's another really good example of a way in which you can take a really big project and try to narrow it down into something smaller. So next tip. Do your research. And for people who are academics on this feed, this is probably not new to you to do your research. And what I mean by do your research is to show that you've really surveyed the scene to see what people have done about the particular topic that you're writing on. So for example, let's go back to the example of the Black Lives Matter book. So what you would want to do is to show the people that are reading your application or watching your application that you already know the kind of books and the kind of publications that are out there about this, and how your publication is going to be different from what's already out there, and what your publication is going to be adding to the conversation that's already out there. So that's what you're going to be, so that's what you should be doing. You should be surveying the field. You should not just come to this and not have any idea about what's going on, because the goal of the scholarship is that we want you to contribute something to the conversation. So in order to contribute something to the conversation, you also really have to know what the conversation is about. And so doing your research in this sense really just means being aware of the conversation and showing your awareness of the conversation, and also introducing the conversation to people who may not be aware of the conversation, so that they know how you are specifically contributing towards the conversation. So if you would like a cheat sheet that summarizes everything that I'm talking about in this talk, would you share this video for us with some people that you think who will appreciate this or would learn from this? So once we see a few shares of this video, and we hope that you would share the video, Megan is going to share with you the cheat sheet that you can then download and keep with you and print out as you're working towards a scholarship application. So please share the video, and then we're going to share with you the cheat sheet for scholarship, for how to write a compelling scholarship application. Okay, and the final tip is to make sure, yay, thanks Zelda. So the final tip is to make sure that your application actually contributes to the goals of the scholarship. So many scholarships are founded for specific reasons. So the reasons are that they want to support some kind of work, or they want to support the education of a particular group of people. So when you write a compelling scholarship application, you have to address how your project is going to address the goals of the scholarship. So as you know, the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship is trying to further research that will help contribute towards the ending of structural inequalities. So things, for example, about a project about racism, a project about sexism, a project about homophobia, or intersectionality, and all these things would contribute towards the ending of structural inequality. So you will have to make that explicit when you are writing and when you're talking about your scholarship to show us exactly how your scholarship application is going to be a good fit for our scholarship because it meets our goals. So for example, let's go back to the idea of the Black Lives Matter project. So say you were asking for the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship to write that one chapter of the book, which focused on the 3 women founders. And so how you could then say that this project you are applying for really addresses the goal of the scholarship is because it emphasizes that these women were the ones that started this very important movement. And so it puts attention on women rather than men. And so it turns attention to the idea of women, especially women of color, as active agents of history. So that's really why it's so important to fund the scholarship, because you're contributing, by funding the scholarship, you're contributing towards knowledge of anti-racism and anti-sexism. So that's why you would want, so you need to have a few sentences, either saying it on the video or writing it down in your application about how what you are saying about the follow-up, what you are saying about your scholarship directly contributes towards the goals of the scholarship. So how are we doing so far? Has this been helpful? Have you had any aha moments from listening to the video so far, the live stream so far? Hopefully so. Hopefully so. So so basically I told you we had 3 tips. So I'm going to go over the 3 tips again. Tip 1 is to, as you're writing your scholarship application, be really specific and realistic about what you can achieve. So don't try to have this broad goal that's going to take many years. Like really see how you can pare down your project to something that you can actually accomplish in 4 months. And tip number 2 is to do your research. And what I mean by doing your research is that you want to show that you are aware of the conversation that has been already going on around your subject matter, and how what you're doing is going to be a real contribution to that conversation. So that's what doing your research means. And tip number 3, also emphasize how your application connects to the goals of the scholarship. So if the scholarship is about ending structural forms of equality, then show how your project actually contributes towards ending structural forms of inequality. So finally, before we leave, I'd like to ask you guys if you would tag somebody you think would benefit from this video, because maybe they want to apply for the Sabbatical Beauty Scholarship, or maybe they're writing scholarships, scholarship proposals in general, fellowship proposals, grant proposals in general, and this would be helpful for them. We would be really grateful. I would be really grateful if you do that. And I will also drop a link, or if Megan is still here, she's going to help you drop a link directly to the scholarship application page. And if you go to the scholarship application page, you're going to see a little sign-up form where I created a little sign-up to give you some curated, I'm going to email you a list of curated resources that are going to help you write a really good and strong grant application. So I curated it myself. And these are some of the resources that I found useful when I was doing a lot of grant writing as a professor. So all you need to do is to go to the Sabbatical Beauty page for the scholarship, and you'll see a little sign up for the mailing list. And I'll send you that list of curated resources. And I also will send you, as the time to the fellowship gets closer, it's due March 25th. And so as the time gets closer, I'll send you more and more tips and links to help refine your scholarship application as well. So really happy to talk to all of you guys, and glad you guys made it. And please, if you found this helpful, please share this and tag somebody you think would find this useful. All right, thanks so much, guys. Bye.